as the youngster grew and became uncommonly strong. Now the boy, known as Goku, is on his own and has become the sole guardian of his grandfather's most mystical possession, his Dragon Ball.
Recording the video. Hello. Okay, so sorry if I have to be a little close this time. Just water. Excuse me. What I wanted to do today, I took a little inspiration from myself, and I wanted to essentially try to make like a book list of Circuit, a book version of Circuit. I have 3 books that I keep with me at all times right now, and I wanted to do kind of a run through between those 3, just really quickly, and I'm going to do them in order of a strict importance that you're going to see in a minute. So first up, what we have is Anthem. I talked about Anthem in Circuit. It is a crazy work of art by Ayn Rand. Just to read the back. My happiness is not the means to any end. It is the end. It is its own goal. It is its own purpose. Ayn Rand, Anthem. This novella by Ayn Rand was first published in England in 1938. It takes place at some unspecified future date when mankind has entered another dark age characterized by irrationality, collectivism, and socialistic thinking and economics. Technological advancement is now carefully planned when it is allowed to occur at all, and the concept of individuality has been eliminated. For example, the use of the word I is punishable by death. Rand, as a teenager, lived in Soviet Russia, initially conceived Anthem as a play. This is a novel upholding Rand's central principles of her philosophy and of her heroes: reason, values, volition, and individualism. It's beautifully well made. Truth be told, I don't know what distinguishes a novella from a play. I'm Hispanic, so I only know novela, which is soap dramas. Hispanic soap dramas from back in the day. Also entertaining. Yeah, but I believe the Ayn Rand takes the cake when it comes to philosophical bindings. It is not even 100 pages, probably around, at least this version, it's 63 pages. I read it in probably the span of 2 hours with breaks, but just like, I'm talking like a break to go use the bathroom, and like maybe that's it, like to get some, to drink water, but 2 hours, like, you know, straight. It's perfect because it keeps you glued. I keep it with me for that reason. It carries almost like a sentimental value, and I want to go like on I want to go on a video version of Anthem entirety. I want to read the whole thing. We're gonna go through it, specifically through the parts that I feel deserve not only a gloss over, but they deserve their whole essay. Anthem. We have Letters from a Stoic by Seneca. Cool marble etching, right? It's philosophical, obviously. He is a Stoic philosophizer.
Now he's a philosophizer.
Reading the back. It is philosophy that has the beauty of protecting us. Without it, no one can lead a life free of fear or worry. For several years of his turbulent life, in which he was dogged by ill health, exile, and danger, Seneca was the guiding hand of the Roman Empire. This selection of Seneca's letters shows him upholding the ideals of Stoicism, the wisdom of the self-possessed person immune to life's setbacks, while valuing friendship and courage and criticizing the harsh treatment of slaves and the cruelties in the gladiatorial arena. The humanity and wit revealed in Seneca's interpretation of Stoicism is a moving and inspiring declaration of the dignity of the individual mind. Beautifully said. This I am not completely through, probably this much through. It is because I am ingesting it on a daily basis. It is close to 300 pages, and what I'm treating it as is a type of daily meditation. There is a daily text known amongst the Jehovah Witnesses, and every day they ingest little bits of biblical knowledge along with a certain interpretation, and that's essentially the gist of what I'm doing with this book. I'm sure that there's other denominations that do the same exact thing, but specifically, this is my version for Seneca's. And I just want to gleam over what I read yesterday and share it here with you. Under letter 7, it begins with a thesis. Essentially, it seems like Seneca is charged with a financial obligation to his ward, Epicurus. Oh, I'm sorry, not Epicurus. He is writing to his ward.
2 hours later.
That's how you can tell this is all freestyle. I'm sure it is somewhere here. I am just not finding it. I just see him continuing to call him his friend. I'm sure I'll find it once I'm editing this video. Excuse me. Okay. The writing he is submitting to his charge for the daily meditation that he gives him. He starts it off by essentially giving a warning. You ask me to say what you should consider it particularly important to avoid. My answer is this: a mass crowd. Essentially, the gist is bad associations spoil good habits. I'm sure we've all heard that from our grandmother, and it's even reaches up to the upper echelon. He even advises his ward to not seek the comfort of a crowd, since he believes he's not even ready to basically allow his will to be influenced by others. The larger the size of the crowd we mingle with, the greater the danger. Ruinous to the character as sitting away one's time at a show, through the medium of entertainment that vices creep into one's with more than usual ease. A single example of extravagance or greed does a lot of harm. Alright, now audio is going. My AirPods died and then it canceled the recording, so it's my fault for taking too long, not gonna lie, but okay. A single example of extravagance or greed does a lot of harm. A companion with a malicious nature tends to rub off some of his rust, even on someone of an innocent and open-hearted nature. You must inevitably either hate or imitate the world, but the right thing is to shun both courses. You should neither become like the bad because they are many, nor be an enemy of the many because they are unlike you. Retire into yourself as much as you can. Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those who you are capable of improving. The process is a natural one. Men learn as they teach. And that is very true. He ends his letter in usual debt so far as this letter is concerned, and the other two you are to regard as an advance on account. To me, says Democritus, a single man is a crowd, and a crowd is a single man, who, when asked what was the object of all the trouble he took of a piece of craftsmanship, when it would never reach more than a few very good few people. A few is enough for me. So is one, and so is none. In essence, this is the reason why we must be careful of crowds, why I'm careful of looking at anything comment related, at least up to this point that I'm at right now. I needed to find my own baseline nature, and then I would subject myself to the will of a certain mass. The greater the mass, the greater the influence. And if this influence becomes even greater, then there'll become more people that could potentially influence me back. And we have to be careful, as Seneca says. This is a daily meditation, and it's something that I daily grapple with, and I think for a good reason. He ends it with, I am writing this, he says, not for the eyes of the many, but for yours alone. For each of us is audience enough for the other. Lay these up in your heart, my dear Lucilius. What you may scorn the pleasure that comes from the majority's approval. Lucilius, that's the name of his ward. The many speak highly of you, but have you really any grounds for satisfaction with yourself if you are the kind of person the many understand? Your merits should not be outward facing. And that correlates perfectly with the themes present in Anthem. She explicitly states towards the end of the novel, I owe nothing to my brothers nor do I gather debts from them. I ask none to live for me, nor do I live for any others. I covet no man's soul, nor is my soul theirs to covet. I am neither foe nor friend to my brothers, nor such as each of them shall deserve of me. And to earn my love, my brothers much do more, much more, than to have been born. I do not grant my love without reason, nor to any chance passerby who may wish to claim it. I honor men with my love, but honor is a thing to be earned. What is my joy if all hands, even the unclean, can reach into it? What is my wisdom if even the fools can dictate to me? What is my freedom if all creatures, even the botched and the impotent, are my masters? What is my life if I am but to bow, to agree, and to obey? But I am done with this creed of corruption. So that's every day for me. I did say we have 3 books. Number 3, we have this book called Total Focus, Make Better Decisions Under Pressure, by a former Navy SEAL sniper turned CEO, by Brandon Webb. Full honesty time. I got this book because I saw it on a YouTube video where XXXTentacion was talking to his fans.
Will sit there and blow you up for hours and check on you 24/7 and annoy the fuck out of you that care.
And he was like bearing his soul for real.
It's okay to be annoying. In order to
And this book was like a quick glimpse on the floor. Just quick. I'm going to show it if I can find it. And I looked through the comments and I was like, what book is that? I need to find that book. I need to know what he was reading. Total Focus he was reading. And I got it pre-owned. And this is also maybe why I don't like buying pre-owned. I got through to the introduction to chapter 1 and then stopped. I don't know. It didn't grab me, and from what I remember, it was a little kind of like, I don't know, action movie-ish. Maybe there's some gems in here, but I include this and I kept it with me. Also to show that it's okay to have like duds for yourself. It's okay to maybe think something is interesting for a little bit and then completely put it to the side. At least to me. That could be seen as a fickle nature, for sure, granted, but it speaks more to me than doing something that just doesn't call to you anymore. And be honest about it. I hope I will get to this, but I also wanted to talk about this because it made me think of a crazier influential book that I'm going to talk about soon, called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And I have a story time to also go with it, so I hope you'll be with me once I share that. Thank you so much for being here. I'm probably yapped for long enough. I really appreciate any supporter, but according to Seneca, I also do this for no one. I appreciate any of you out there that are also shining your own lights. You know, we need more of that in the world, for sure. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Purpose. No one can create your purpose for you. No one can tell you who to be. Really, like, it's just not genuine. It's not what you really would want. So, I'm sorry, I'm kind of lost with the subject matter.
Getting spiffy. Bro, look at the time. Look at myself in the camera. It's kind of confusing, low key. Oh, talking alligator, I ain't talk. It's been some time. There's been some changes that maybe the time would compensate for, or at least match in ratio, setting, look, and maybe even message going forward. Most likely it's going to be the same deal though. Figuring it out as we go along and living through it together. Obviously, I'm not going to go into incredible detail about everything that's going on personally. It's the same thing that I've been saying. You follow your gut instinct. You open yourself up to the possibilities. You calm yourself when the difficulties arise, and you see yourself through it, through your own will and the own trust that you have in yourself. And you come out the other end like I thought it would. I think that's faith, like real faith. I kind of expressed this earlier. I always felt like there was something wrong with the depiction of this being a fallen world that is destined to be saved, and that there was really nothing we as a people could do except pray and put our hands together for this savior to come. When in reality, I think the world has always been perfect. The universe has always been in a state of receiving and taking, and now it's more like we are the ones that have been out of balance. We've been given this beautiful gift of consciousness, and we can use it for bad, which is why we have so much difficulty. When we do use it for bad, though, that's out of alignment. You're going out of what is already in place to benefit you, and you actively want to go against it because it is your conscious will to do that. And you can do that, but why? You know, like, why would you want to subjugate people, have power over others? Why would you want to limit other people's freedoms, other people's pursuit of joy and dreams? Wouldn't you want that for yourself? If the world is perfect, then that means that the only thing that can be imperfect is our own thoughts. Our own thoughts about the world, perhaps. Our own thoughts about people, about what's possible, about our own limitations, and about where it can go. Recently, and I'll name drop this, Channel 5, Andrew, I forgot his name. Oh my God, let me just look it up, dude, that's so disrespectful. Andrew Callahan, Channel 5. Didn't even have to look it up. He had an interview with some, controversial political figures, and there was an expression, surprisingly and almost ironically, of an upcoming renaissance. New ideas, and like in our lifetime, like the craziest evolution, and what we will see it in our lifetime. And I think it's AI that's going to do that. I don't think so. Maybe it could be. Maybe it's like a combination, but I think it's human. It's going to be human generated. I think we're going to unlock any type of limits and feelings of lacks of abundance in our lifetime, and that's when the world will actually change. We'll have to develop something like a new eschatology, which means that it'll revolutionize the way everyone in the world sees life. Everyone in the world sees people, how everyone in the world sees the end goal of human civilization. Before, it used to be that we were going to be graced with an otherworldly presence, and maybe to a degree it is otherworldly when you're able to synchronize with this energy that flows freely through the universe. I mean, it's the universe. Is that otherworldly? We come from it. It's like it's a embryo perfectly harnessed and constructed to give us our form. So how could it be otherworldly? Either way, maybe it's just so powerful that we thought of it as an otherworldly object. We're gonna move on from being saved by something else to figuring out that we can save ourselves and we can save each other. First, we have to look at each other. We have to see the world for what it is. We have to see what's actually going on. Why is there so many new available news media? Why is there so many readily available apps and things that we didn't even have when I was young? When I was young, it was Vine, Snapchat, Facebook, basic slop. It was probably the eve of all of this, of seeing how valuable it could be. But right now, there is an infinite amount of information that can be found at the fingertips. And we use it to basically dilute our minds with all this noise. So that way we look at this entire world and we think that it's too big to solve. When I think that's the plan, isn't it? Wouldn't that make sense if the people that don't want things to change would want to formulate things so that it seems like it really can't? That would require, almost just basic understanding of human psychology, let alone give it generations after generations of perfecting that model. There's a lot of popular now talk about this oligarchy that is controlling the United States and the AI revolution that is soaking up all the water and destroying people's towns anti-democratically, tie against the vote of the people. Where is that going to end? Where is that going to go? Are we going to have a renaissance? Are there going to be a new class of Democrat and Republican that are going to come and sweep everybody off their feet? I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. Okay. I do hope so. 2028 could be a revolutionary period for America, and then could be for the whole world. Ultimately what I've set out to explore, maybe just a little prematurely, but hey, I'm still an American. I'm proud of the liberty I was afforded over there. I'm proud of what people fight for, maybe not recently. Nah, anything that was fought for in the past, let's give it a number, maybe even before Vietnam. No, even, I don't know, that's hard. A big emerging question, especially in that interview, was what is American culture? Is it just the fact that I was able to live there, be born there, have the political, economical, and cultural influence, and then be able to take that wherever I want freely, as long as I follow those rules? That's probably a good place to start. So maybe you can be proud of the fact that you survived being an American in the 21st century. Basically plopped on to a power structure that was designed for young people to fail, and you still come out the other end. That you should be proud for. You just so happen to be an American.
There you go. I like that clap. Woo! Not bad to be light-skinned, huh?
Okay, this is a early Sunday morning recording, journal type deal, going over some plans for the Can't Hurt Me review / story. I think it was the first book I ever read cover to cover the moment I got it. At the time, I also had a newly prescribed medical marijuana card, and I had a vape, and just with the vape and reading that book, it was that first time I had that type of experience. Combined my two worlds together, and it just, I don't know, I used it to serve that purpose of ingesting this book, but at the same time, I was in, I think, senior year of high school, 17 years old at the time, and I had basically stayed up all night, and I had a diversity class for dual enrollment to go to, so I just went with no sleep, high as a kite. I think also over the course of that week, I had experimented with some psychedelics, and my mind was all over the place. I was ingesting ideas like a mother. And I just went with this crazy fire and encouragement to want to share what I was reading because I thought it was revolutionary. And boy, did I share. Let me show you. I just realized that there's no power. Can't Hurt Me. This edition, at least, was published in 2018. It's I think it's a newer edition. That master your mind and defy the odds. What this book and what drew me so much to want to ingest it was I had first heard, I think, the podcast that he did with Joe Rogan on the JRE, and just to read the cover or the jacket. For David Goggins, childhood was a nightmare. Poverty, prejudice, and physical abuse colored his days and haunted his nights. But through self-discipline, mental toughness, and hard work, Goggins transformed himself from a depressed, overweight young man with no future into a U.S. Armed Forces icon and one of the world's top endurance athletes. The only man in history to complete elite training as a Navy SEAL, Army Ranger, and Air Force Tactical Air Controller. He went on to set records in numerous endurance events, inspiring Outside Magazine to name him the fittest real man in America. In Can't Hurt Me, he shares his astonishing life story and reveals that most of us tap into only 40% of our capabilities. Goggins calls this the 40% rule, and his story illuminates a path that anyone can follow to push past pain, demolish fear, and reach their full potential. Now you can obviously assume why that called to my young mind at the time. That idea that we could push past our potential and that we're not fully reaching our, limits. That idea had sunk its claws into me, and it raptured me that night. And I had already seen the man as a role model because he also had inspired me to want to join the military at that time. He inspired me to be a Navy SEAL, to be, if I'm going to try something, I'm going to be the best at it, essentially. And now, after reading the book, I also saw, he's also a philosopher. He's also an advocate for this mystical life, for that type of life where there's only a certain amount that people can really know if they don't push themselves. That base reality and the reality that we all know that we're all comfortable with, that's only a small part of everything that we're supposed to be experiencing. And of course, the first part of it is his life story and also how he gets there and what circumstances even leads him to even develop these ideas or even have a craving to need to be an extraordinary person. He had extraordinary circumstances put upon him. It's very few people that are in a comfortable position that seek that uncomfortable realm of being an extraordinary person. And for David, he didn't choose it. He was born in it. I think he had an abusive alcoholic father, and his mother was not always in a capable position to provide for both of them. They had to go through a lot of family loss. Even after, I believe he also himself dealt with his weight issue, which in the back of the book, there's just a bigger version of him that you can barely see. He was around 286 pounds, and he needed to drop 100 pounds in like 2 months or 3 months or some crazy statistic like that. Let's see if I can find it. Sorry about that. So I decided to clean up a bit because I essentially know what I want to talk about here. Yeah, I completely had forgotten that, he had to lose 107 pounds in less than 3 months, which is, don't know how that's possible. 106 pounds in less than 3 months. I had forgotten my inspiration to want to join the military was to try and become an exceptional person, and I knew that I needed to put myself in exceptional circumstances. I understood that young. A large part of it was because I knew how environment could help shape the mind, and it also helped shape the character. You could tell because I was shaped by my environment, and I could tell that a part of it was because I didn't like my environment, so I didn't really like who I was, and I needed to change that. And especially reflected to me in what I was watching at the time. I just kept feeding that, and also with trying to help myself with medical marijuana. It was kind of all coming together to try and make myself into something that I could be proud of, and something that I would also naturally ease myself into because it felt like a true calling, to try and be someone big or be someone bold, and someone that I felt mattered not only to other people, but it mattered to me, like objectively. If I could look at that person objectively and say he does this and this and this and that, okay, to me that is an exceptional person, and I wanted to be that for myself. And I thought that this was like a North Star for becoming that. Literally becoming like, I wanted to follow his game plan. Fortunately, I didn't have that abusive lifestyle in the beginning, and some of his traumas were completely, circumstantial to his race and also to his age. I could have never gone through that. So I needed to implement as much as he could, his training regimen, and most of all, his mentality. His mentality was so focused on far exceeding past your normal bounds, exceeding and pushing past your limits. Understanding that there is pain there, but it's only because your mind is so comfortable keeping you where it is comfortable. And when you experience the pain, you are also experiencing the change. And as you continue to experience change, unfortunately, pain will always be a part of with it. You just have to learn how to deal with it, and that's becoming a mentally fortified person. He talks about dipping into the cookie jar, where you, at those intense and critical moments, you dip into an experience from the past, you dip into a time where you felt that light and you felt that fire, and you bring it out and you try and ingest on your own will to survive and your own will to succeed. And that is what will push those who will seek that extraordinary lifestyle forward. I wish I could have expressed it as calmly as that when I was younger. Instead, what I presented was a bumbling mess of sleep-deprived, drug-induced insomnia with that type of focus of trying to push past your potential, and then we should all try and look for the best in each other, and that there's a mirror that we have to look in every day. And oh boy, it ended up a mess. And it was honestly one of the most embarrassing moments of my life looking back, because it mattered to me. The message and the way I introduced it to people was so backward and so terrible. It was overreactive and dramatic, but it's because I did feel it. The emotion was there and the tears were there. The people honestly were secondary to what I felt was a message. A message from up above that finally shined its light on us. Like, look guys, you're mediocre. Stop thinking that you're this big, strong, extraordinary thing. Like that we're gonna create all this change and through diversity and doing this and this and that, when we're all thinking the same. We're all thinking basic. We're all thinking low brow, reactionary against each other, trying to eat each other alive. No, you are a superior, more advanced being than those lower, baser instincts. And that's what I tried to get across at a lower basic instinct. Crying, bumbling mess of like, God, like you have to look inside of you and in your potential. It was a mess. And the teacher, of course, used it as an opportunity to like try and make a lesson out of it, or try also salvage anything out of it. And people were even asking me afterwards, like, if I was okay. I was like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm going to put my backpack on and I'm going to go run 5 miles. And I did. That type of transformative change, that is true. That is always true. And that stays true. It also gets tempered over time. You also know how to maneuver it and how to forge your weapons around it. And at the beginning, it is just a blaze, though. It is a real blaze. And maybe for some of us, we feel it and then it can get quenched out. There's a saying that with adults, they only allow the buds they want to bloom. And the rest, they only allow the buds that they want to bloom, and the rest they snip and they hinder. And the rest that don't fit the crowd, don't fit the mold, essentially they'll get cut and they don't get nurtured. And then before you know it, you just have uniformity across the way. And unfortunately, that's what I did see, and I could feel it too, especially when we were having these discussions about very big general ideas about race and about critical theory, everything compacting on our young minds. And then something felt like a truth bomb out of all of that misery and complaining and arguing back and forth about rights and identity and politics. There was just a single truth of, are you living an extraordinary life or are you not? Are you trying to be an extraordinary person or are you not? Are you trying to change yourself first before you try and change the world? Because that's what it takes to be an extraordinary person. That's what it takes to change the world. To be an extraordinary person. That is what it takes. You can't just expect to live the way everyone else lives and then expect changes from that. You have to go and experience new things, and you have to see the viewpoints of different people, and you also have to continuously learn and teach yourself. And that's why Can't Hurt Me was the starting point of it all. Maybe it was the beginning of it all for me, for a really drastic revolutionary change. And I was so young and impressionable at the time, everything aligned. And then little by little, I started to garner more meaning towards that, and I started to actually take his symbol for what it is. It's a symbol. It's not a guideline. It's a track. It's also a story. It's a challenge. It's an invitation to those who would want to bring that change from themselves, and then it could shine upon the rest of us. I think that's what Can't Hurt Me brought out the most of me, and I try to bring it out of myself as much as I can as well. Not only do I think that it's worth a read, I think it is worth your attention. I think it is worth your time and your diligence, and I think it is also worth following the challenges inscribed in the book. Thank you for listening. Please, if you Can't Hurt Me. This is one, I think, of his 2 books. I think he has a 3rd book coming out. I have not read the 2nd book, but I definitely plan on doing that. It just took that long for this to really, really sink in. And I'm glad I can finally share it tears free. Thank you guys. You have a great one.